Howdy folks, welcome back to another episode of Sailing Slow Motion. So yesterday when I was out, I was talking about wanting to have a seat that was kind of in the middle from sitting on that top deck to sitting on the floor where the Windrider seat is mounted. And I think I have a solution, and I'm going to attempt to put like a bass boat seat in there with a pedestal of about 6 inches. So that should put me somewhere around the middle of that seating area. We'll see. The wind is ripping today. They said 10 to 20. I'm pretty sure it's around the 20 mark. All the little cables on the mast are slapping out here at the marina. So it should be a good day. My concern is paddling out. Hopefully I have enough strength. So, shoot through the window here. You can see the ripples in the water. The wind's coming straight down the channel. So I'll know if I can do it pretty quickly. So I'll show you the seat setup as I figure out if I'm even able to mount it. If I'm not able to mount it, you probably won't even see this clip. So anyway, enjoy today's show. It should be pretty good with the seat install, and I got some little pockets to mount also. They're aprons for like a waitress or waiter would use. I'm gonna mount those on the sides so I have a place to put my gloves and snacks or whatever. Then we should be sailing in some pretty awesome winds. And I'd imagine the water's relatively calm just because yesterday it was so flat. Like I know it's picked up a little bit out there, but can't imagine getting beat up too much. So we'll see. I'm gonna try and keep you hidden out of this wind as much as I can, because I'm sure it's gonna be caught in the microphone. I don't have one of those fuzzy things that muffles the wind sound out yet. I'll be getting one at some point, I'm sure. But anyway, I want to show you my plan. Let's see, I'll do it down here. So I'm on slow motion right now, and Silky's next to me. I'll get to that here in a minute. So this is the base, and it's supposed to mount into your floor like that, but I don't want to cut all the holes, like to have all this fit. So all I need to do is cut a little hole, use a paddle bit so that the tip of the seat post can fit through it. I'm going to mount this upside down like that. And then mounting the seat post will fit in there. So you can see how I need to drill out, you know, something about that size. And the seat will sit on there. And the seat won't swivel too much because it's going to be kind of pinned inside the boat. And then the seat will go on top of it. Oh, they're all rusty. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it's gonna be awkward. There's one. Let's do that 3 more times. Okay, so we got the 4 bolts off. Let's see. Oh yeah, she's rusted in there. Alright, well, I gotta figure that out. Okay, this might be too big of a tool, but we'll see if it'll pop it loose. Everything's rusted down in there. The nuts are off, but I think it's from the washers. Sounds like I'm popping the floor, which I don't like. I wonder if I can hammer the bolts down. Let me try that. Next thought is maybe there's rib nuts in the floor that they're screwed into. Let's see if they unscrew or not. Well, they appear to just turn. I'll drop it down. I guess also I'm probably going to have to get these washers off. It looks like the washers have become one with the bolts. I should just be able to put the socket on there and give it a couple whacks. Well, you know what they say, first you don't succeed, get a bigger hammer. So, let's see here. Rust. So good at holding things together. So looking at this a little closer, it looks almost like these are not washers on here. They're threaded, not mounted in the seat, but everything around it has deteriorated and they bonded together. So these are not going to want to come apart by hammering it or spinning it. The only way is to find a way to hold that metal down and see if I can unscrew it, which, let's see, if I can't do that, I'm just going to have to cut the seat out and then grind them down. That's going to be the only way. Okay, this is commitment. Once I chop this, we're all in. Well, I've made a nice grid pattern. Anyone want to play tic-tac-toe? It's still not popping off. It's because the plastic down here on the bottom is holding it. So I'm going to chop in here a little more at different angles to get that freed up. Okay, yep, just made a little bit of progress. Now I just got to get under each one of these and cut them out. Slowly getting there. Alright, so I just cut this one off, and once I cut through the screw, it dropped out, so I'm going to have to do that to these three. There's a big washer on the bottom that's preventing this from coming out, and yeah, once I get the washers free, then of course they're separating from each other. So that's what I got to do. This is from the bottom. You can see how big the washer is. That's why I can't just slide them forward and pull them up, which would be awesome if I could, but it's working. Okay, we did it. We are free, although there's melted plastic everywhere, and there's a lot of cleanup that has to happen before we can install. Something else that I'm noticing is that this is where the seat's going to mount. When I put my weight on it, there's a lot of flex right there. So I think I want to get a shoring that's going to go from this slip to this slip, just kind of beef this up a little bit. Maybe like a pressure treated 2x6 or just something to go across there to mount to. Okay, so this is where we're going to want to mount the seat. We have the drain for the bilge that comes up, it needs to be forward of, and will be raised about an inch. So what I decided on to shore the flooring is a piece of oak. I figured I was going to use starboard, but I figured ships were built with oak for hundreds of years. It should hold just fine, and I'll be able to visually see it, so if I do get cracks or warping in it, I'll be able to swap it out pretty easy. So, but I'm just going to mark the floor where I want it, so I can measure across, and then measure that board out the way I want it, cut it, put everything together, put this thing in here, and then we should be about ready to go sail. Alright, so I was going to get the marker in there and mark it, but it's too difficult. I just eyeballed it. Looks like the board goes forward of these holes right here, and then we'll mount right here. So that should be okay. We've still got clearance from those screw holes. So let's assemble this. So measuring, we got, it's like 23 and a half. Set nice on there. Back here, 23. So we'll cut the board at 23 and a half, and then bring a 1/4 inch on each side and taper those. And that should fit in there nice. Okay, so here's the board that I'm going to use. We got a 1/4 inch taper on each side. So we got 23 and a half inch length here and 23 inch length here. And get it in there. Forward, like that. We're going to want to go what I'm going to do now is just kind of round those corners a little bit so it's not a hard edge on the plastic there. And then mount the plate, drill the hole, mount the plate, bolt these things together, and that should be good. Okay, so I got this mounted, and the bolts are just temporarily installed right there. I'm going to see if maybe these holes line up with those holes. Wouldn't that be awesome? I mean, unlikely that that's going to work, but let's see how I'm going to do this. This forward here, slide back, set there. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, too often, dude. Oh, wait. It's pretty close. Just have to open that up a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll install these two first, and then so that's tight, and then I'll drill these through the plastic. And I'm using pretty much what was there before, so a 1.5 inch, or these are I think 1 1/4, 2 inch, I don't know, washers, and then a nut to go on top, and it's a nylock, so it should rust eventually in there, even though it's stainless steel, and be impossible to remove for the next guy. As I'm finishing up this last one, lucky that I have Go-Go gadget arm, because I really get cranked up under here. Get it. I can tell you that this floor is already a lot stiffer. I've curled up the plastic a little bit, but so you can see it kind of falls back down, but everything sets where it's supposed to. So I'm going to grab the seat and check it out. Well, I'm in, and I got to tell you, it's pretty comfortable, but I see why the seat's lower now, because I got long legs. I think if my legs were shorter, it would be better, but I feel kind of like a kid in a high chair, or an adult in a kid's high chair. Check this out. So either my legs are kind of cramped up, like I'm sitting in the back seat of a car, and then if I put them down here, I'll not be able to use the pedals. Although it's very comfortable sitting here, I'm thinking about getting a high-rise post and bringing myself up even a little higher. Does that sound weird? Let's see what happens. Well, having this is nice. Like, it'd be really nice, like if I wanted to go fishing, I could face backwards and fish off the back of the boat. Like, that's pretty comfortable. But as for using the boat, I don't think I'm gonna keep it on here for motoring, but I will keep it on the boat just because that is nice to be able to fish. And if you're wondering if the hatch cover would fit, it definitely does. This is well below the top. As I mentioned earlier, I bought these aprons at Walmart. They were $1.39, but they fit on these brackets perfectly. And now I can just have a spot to shove gloves or whatever I want. And then I got another one on this side. So, pretty cheap addition, and it's gonna make a world of difference just being able to have stuff stored right here. Okay, so I'm we're about to get out of here. The winds are ripping. Let's see if we can pick up here. It looks like 10 or 11, 12, 13. And we're sitting in the channel, so we got probably, well, we definitely have better than 13 out there. So my worry is paddling out. Let's hope I can do that, because it might be a little difficult. So right now I'm untied, but I'm just jammed up into the dock because the wind's behind us. So all right, I'm ready. Let's do this. No, we're just gonna keep rolling. Okay, sure, that's fine. Oh yeah, I could tell this is gonna be one heck of a paddle. Let's see, I wonder if I should do something different here. Well, we can just get out, then we're out, you know? And then what? Oh man, this might be a bad idea. I'm gonna pause it and then let me get myself out of this situation here. About to roll on up to slow motion here. No, we're still rolling. Fun. Okay, I am going to accept defeat on this one. The wind is just, it's blowing directly across. It's pushing me into the dock. I'm having a hard enough time just backing myself out. And then as I go down, I'm going to be pushed up against these boats the whole time. And then on the way out, it's a mile of headwind open to the Gulf. So I have this house blocking me behind me and I can't back up. So I can only imagine trying to go out. So I'm going to accept defeat on this one. I checked windy. It's showing 18 knots out there, and I believe it. Just sitting here, I can get 13, 14. So it's a blow-in, and I'm tired enough from the seat. It's been kind of a long day, so I'm just gonna call it quits and make this a video about putting in a seat. Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow.